Here is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 8th through the 12th. I will go over price targets on the 5-minute time frame, have a gap recap from December 1st through the 5th, and update the chart as well. Hi everyone, it's Dow on the Dow. I hope you had a fantastic weekend. First up is NIO. We ended the week at $5.04, up 0.60%. To the north side takes us to one level of resistance and a potential take profit area at 2 standard deviations. That's 525. Above that, 537. And I do not anticipate we get to this level on Monday, but perhaps by the end of the week. And that will take us to $5.49. This gap closes at 550. To the south side, the middle of the trend and the baseline where we could chop sideways is $5.01. Below that, this gap starts at roughly 494, closes out at roughly 489, and then this gap closes to the downside at 480. Negative 2 standard deviations, which is very close, will take us back down to 478. And below that, at negative 2 standard deviations and another potential buy-in area, as well as another potential stop-loss area, 466 and 454. By the end of the week, we could end at 514 for the middle of the trend, and 2 standard deviations could take us to 538 and 490. Now looking left, let's start up here. We started the week at 540, ended at 504, but this gap formed because we gapped down. So whenever we reverse course, that will close at 550, and it starts at roughly 540. Now this gap closed on, oops, let me see if I can grab that. Closed on Tuesday, December 2nd, but looking, oops, I accidentally deleted that. Let's take this to the 15 and go left because it won't let me continue to go left on the 5. So this opened up on Thursday the 21st. It closed down at 508. And then this gap, which started on August the 19th, also closed down to 498. So let's delete that. It is no longer in play to the south side. So congrats if you, whoops, what did I do there? Congrats if you went short and made some money. It took a while though, several months, but it did close and started again at 524-ish. And this one will be deleted. 489, delete. Oh, where did my, okay, if you lose your favorite toolbar, oh, no. Let's see, I have to just click on that. There you go. That took us down to, again, 489-ish. Ignore all the horizontal lines here. The yellow lines are markups I did in 2024, the purple in 2025. Let's go back to the 5 so I don't get this all messed up. Now, this gap closed to the upside at roughly 503, and then that's where it closed, right there. All right, this gap is still in play, and this one I have to fix. That closed again on the 3rd down to 489-ish. So now we're looking good there. And what about this gap that opened up on Friday? Did that really touch all the way through? Yeah, it just barely eked. Touched it and then dipped out. All right, I'll just give it a win, but I know that we will be retracing to this area. So let's just close it out right there. That's questionable though, because I made my lines pretty fat. All right, so we have a gap that will take us to 550, and hopefully that will hit by the end of the week. And then after that, we have this one to look forward to at 575. And, let's extend this one at 446. But we are in an upward channel on the 5. Obviously, look at the other time frames for different buy and sell signals. Next up is Nike. We ended the week at $65.86. All I'm looking at is from this period, Monday to Friday. We are in an upward channel, nice to see. And the middle of the trend is now here. Let's just turn on the magnet for now. Okay, 65.98, that's resistance. We could chop sideways or follow this line, hopefully. 2 standard deviations all day long, 66.81, not so sure, 67.21, and down the road, 67.65. To the south side, -2 standard deviations, potential buy-in area, 65.15, potential stop loss area as well, 64.71, 64.29. By the end of the week, the middle of the trend could rest at 66.85, the outer bands 67.67, and then end right back here again, 66.03 or down to 65.16. Now, looking left, we hit resistance, sold off down to support, back to resistance. This acted as a support line, bounced up to resistance, back down to support, and then clearing resistance and then selling off again. And then this acting as support. So we touched right here out of the gate on Monday. So that took us to 65.91. So congrats if you went long. That was an expected move. And this one's already done. And we touched here and bounced off the support line, but this is still in play. Whenever we reverse course, 60.81, it will close. And then that will take us down to 58.38. But right now we are in an upward channel. Okay, and I know we have gaps to the upside, but we are not there. So I will move to the next ticker. Oh, this, according to the analysts, the 1-year price target is 83.34, which represents a 26% return from where we are. If you can stomach it, long term, lots of upside potential. Tesla, we just had a reverse split, a 5-for-1 on Monday. And Monday was the 1st. Okay. Let's look at what's happening for this week. We are at 39.22. I liked it when we were in this trading in the $7-8 range. This obviously is more expensive, which would be a barrier for some people to trade it because it is way more expensive than what it used to be. But the valuations are still the same. It's just the price. All right. And I liked it cheaper to trade heavily. 39.33. We could chop sideways in consolidation. Next leg up, 39.97, 40.29, and 40.60. To the south side, support 38.67, 38.37, and 38.04. All right. What is happening here? Let me move this out of the way. So my chart is no longer valid for before the split, only because I used to track this in the $7-8 range, and now it's cleared, so I'll have to go back and draw everything over again, which I'm not going to do right now, but just know there is a gap here to the south side that will take us down to 36.32, and we were chopping sideways. Here's your clear resistance sell-off. This is support. We fell through, grinding sideways, and then just chopping sideways right now, hopefully following this trend upward. And we do have a gap to the north side at 40.36. That's the next target. And then to the downside for a pullback 36.32. We are in an upward channel for Tesla. And we have predictions for Tesla in the $500 to $800 range. So hopefully we can start moving on up. Boeing is next. We ended the week at 201.89, barely up any. But what happened? 201.89. Resistance is at 204.14, 205.92-ish, and 207.60. The middle of the trend is now here, very close to a line I've already marked at 201.04. Let's just get rid of that line, and look at that. I drew that out. Oh my goodness, when? Here. On, now it hasn't populated. I have to go back to the 15. Oh, let's just do the 15. It gets wonky on you. Here. May 25th, we're retracing. No, it's not retracing. I marked that out on May 27th of 2025, rather. And now we're just, wait, is that the right line? Yeah. Okay, here we go. So since we are so close to this line, wait a minute, I am all, oh, that's because I'm on the 15 again. I'm like, this is not lining up. Okay, here we go. So I will delete this line since we're so close. All right, to the south side, retracing to 197.25, 195.72, and 193.81. Note the buy-in here at support, hit my line, hit my line. This is a sell-off at resistance, and then we're just sort of following this line down, still in a downward channel on the 5. All right, this gap closed. Let's move this out of the way. Touched right here, that took us to 204.52. And this gap is still in play down to 186.76. Oops. And then we have this gap, 182.68. You have to go. First I have to expand this and then grab it right in the center, or otherwise it just gets wonky. And by the end of the week, the middle of the trend could be at 198.13. And obviously the outer bands here. And what else? So we have gaps to the upside, but we are moving farther away from them. That one takes us to 213.63, and then up here down the road 223.38. The 1-year price target is 247.57. That's a 22% return from where we are. And obviously you could pick this up for even a better price than where we are. And the last one will be RIVN. Okay, option R. Let's talk about from this period to this period. We are at 1795, the middle of the trend. This needs to be moved. Okay. 1820. 1866, 1888, rather 1890-ish, 88, 90-ish, and then 1912 to the south side, support 1774, 1752, 1725, and from Monday, December the 1st, this gap closed on Thursday, so congrats if you went long and went, see here, we went down and then we filled it on the way up. So that is done, $17.99, and this started at $17.58. And this is the only ticker in the red for the week, barely anything though, just over half a point. And moving farther away from these gaps, we are still moving along here. And for RIVN, the 1-year price target, all right, we've hit it already. So now they're saying to the downside, $15.05, after that $10, but to the upside $25. This thing has whipped us around. All right, that does it for me. That is a look at your gap and go trades for the week of December 8th through the 12th. Can't believe it's my 105th gap and go. And I just finished doing a short video on charge points, so go check that out. I hope you have a great trading week.